Okay, welcome, yogis. It is full moon Sunday. I always like to say that. I think that's funny, and I also like to call it the full moon flow. But let's just keep our pants on, all right? None of that stuff. But actually, the full moon is arriving today. It'll be at its fullest at 11:38. So right in the middle of this class. So it's super cool. So if you're here live, you'll feel that, you'll get to feel that energy as we do our flow. And if you're joining by recording, you'll still get to feel it because it was recorded at that time. And you'll get that energy as well as you're doing the flow. Plus the full moon energy lasts maybe right around 2 to 3 days after the fullest part of the moon. So very cool. So today today is all about connecting to our higher self. So when we move into meditation or Shavasana, we are going to be focusing on connecting to our higher self. And it's really cool. I pulled a goddess card for today. I feel like the full moon is really right for goddess energy. And I got Pele. And it's interesting because she talks about what is your heart's true desire. And I don't think that I think it's hard to understand our true heart's desire if we're not connected to our higher self. So I feel like it all really goes together really well. So Pele will be our goddess in our yoga flow today. And just a little bit about your higher self, if you're not quite sure or haven't heard that term before. But when our soul comes into an earthly body, when we come down into earth and claim our body at conception, really, a piece of our soul stays in the spiritual realm. So we don't come in with our full soul. We still have a piece that's in the spiritual realm. And that's our connection to the divine. And so we've come to term that as our higher self. And a lot of people also call it our intuition. And so really it's that connection we have between the divine and our earthly body. And so today we're going to practice tuning into that and really establishing a firm connection with our higher self. So super cool. But first, we're just going to welcome ourselves onto our mat, whatever way feels comfortable to you. You can also do this in a chair if that's more comfortable for you. I won't give too many cues for for yoga in the chair, but you can always modify from a seated sitting in a chair. So let's just go ahead and start before we move into our breath work and our opening meditation. Let's just go ahead and welcome some intuitive movement into our body. So really just beginning to tune into your body. You can close your eyes if you like, if that helps. But just welcoming some range of motion, however feels. So you can, like even just rocking back and forth or doing some, intentional side stretches, kind of moving your body and listening to what it needs. We don't have a whole lot of hip openers today. Just a few minor ones, but we do have a few twists and some chest openers. We're really focusing on our heart center today. Obviously connecting to our higher self, which we'll do in our opening meditation, but also connecting to our heart center, kind of how that divine guidance flows through our heart and listening to our heart. So quite a few chest openers for today. Maybe just adding some intuitive twist into this. This isn't a true warm up, but just kind of a way to welcome ourselves onto our mat and get reacquainted with our body for today before we do our yoga. So whatever feels right. Just a few more moments here, just welcoming that intuitive movement. And then when you're ready, just gently ease yourself into your seated position, really focusing on settling down into those bones, really raising the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, placing your hands at your sides or on your legs, wherever feels comfortable. Take a nice big deep breath in and a full breath out, settling completely into your space, into your mat. And then for our breath work today, you can do this with your eyes closed or open, whatever helps you. We're going to do a 3 count breath with an extra breath at the end and then a full release. So it'll look like this. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, extra sip, and then a full exhale. So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, extra sip, and a full exhale. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, extra sip, and a full exhale. Do 2 or 3 of those at your own pace. Last one. And then just return your breath to its normal breathing pattern. And just find your way into a calm space, perhaps closing your eyes and tuning out anything happening outside of you right now. Allow your breath to be exactly as it is. Allow your body to be exactly as it is. And then take a moment to focus your attention on the space just above the crown of your head. Focus on that space just above the crown of your head. Begin to form a connection to that space. Begin to notice how that space feels or looks. Perhaps you'll see it as a color. Perhaps you'll feel it as an energy. Perhaps it appears as a ball of light. However, your mind wants to envision this space, allow it to be, allow it to come into focus, taking all your attention on that space just above the crown of your head. Becoming intimately connected to that space, however it's appearing to you now. Noticing any sensations you might feel in the crown of your head as you connect to this space, this higher self, this part of your soul that's always with you, always available, always here to feed you divine guidance, instruction, answer questions, comfort, whatever you might need. It's when we become disconnected from this area of its higher self that our brain takes over, begins to make decisions that maybe aren't in our higher good, our highest good. So when we feel overwhelmed, lost, in the wrong path, not knowing what to do, scared, worried, all those things our brain likes to tell us. Take some time to connect to your higher self, closing your eyes, finding that space, allowing it to connect to the crown of your head. And begin to notice any feelings you might be feeling in your body, any sensations now that you're connected to that higher part of yourself. And just allow those feelings, those sensations to be a part of your practice today, knowing full well that your higher self is guiding you to what you need, maintaining this connection throughout our practice. A nice big deep breath in and a full breath out, opening your eyes, coming back. All right, we're going to go ahead and do a warm up. And we're just going to start to work into our shoulders. Nice big shoulder rolls back. Breathing in as you shrug up and breathing out as you roll back. Warming up our shoulders here for some of these chest openers, some of these twists. And again, reminding you to go at your own pace. Something isn't right in what we're doing, then back off. If it doesn't feel right in your body, if it's too much, too intense, it just doesn't feel right, just back off. I'm just a guide. You're here to listen to your body and do what's best for you. And then reverse directions, breathing in, shrugging up, and rolling your shoulders forward. And building just a little bit of heat in your shoulders. And then bringing your shoulders back to neutral. Nice big deep breath in. Raise your arms up above your head. And as you breathe out, twist over to the right gently. One hand in front, one hand behind. And then nice big deep breath in. Raise your arms up to the sky. And as you breathe out, twist over to the left. Breathing in, arms come up. And breathing out, we twist to the right. Breathing in, rising up, and breathing out over to the left. Do two more full rounds at our own pace. And finish that final twist to the left. Lean back up, and as you breathe out, bringing your arms down to the sides from your seated position, hugging forward. And then as you breathe in, opening your arms, bringing your shoulder blades together, looking up, maybe arching your back slightly. And then as you breathe out, curling forward, hugging forward, looking down, rolling your spine back. And then breathing in, gently arching, looking up. And then breathing out, curling back and looking down. And feeling into your spine, chest space, wherever you feel any tension or tightness, just breathe into those areas, allowing them to release and surrender. Do a few more full rounds. Last one. And coming back to your seated position, let's move into our tabletop position. Your knees are under your hips and your wrists are under your shoulders. So from here, you're going to walk your hands just towards that top edge of your mat. So they're a little bit farther in front of your shoulders. You're going to take your left hand and you're going to raise that left hand up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, you're going to sweep that left arm under your armpit and bring your head, the side of your head, down to your mat. You can stretch that right arm out in front of you. And just kind of settle here into this twist, going only as deep as feels available to you. And then focusing your attention on your hips and seeing if you can bring your hips closer to, bring your hips over your knees, because sometimes they like to twist with that arm. So just seeing if you can bring them over your knees or as close to over your knees as possible. That'll just deepen that twist. So taking some nice deep breaths here. And allowing that energy to move in through that solar plexus, seat of empowerment, opening up so that energy can flow through our heart. And then releasing this pose, bringing your right hand back to your mat, releasing your left hand out. And then we're going to switch sides. So nice big deep breath in. Raise your right arm up to the ceiling. And as you breathe out, sweep it underneath that armpit, bringing the side of your head down to your mat, stretching that left arm out in front of you, and then adjusting your hips so that they're over your knees or close to over your knees. And then breathing in on this side. Now, if you're doing this from a chair, you just do the upper body movements, twisting over, stretching that, arm towards the opposite wall, reaching forward. Then bringing that left hand back, releasing your right hand. We're going to come into dolphin pose, but you also have the option of puppy pose if dolphin pose is a little too intense right now, because it can be an intense chest opener. So again, listen to your body and trust what you're doing. Bringing your forearms from here, wherever you're at, like your arms just a little bit in front of your shoulders. Bring your forearms down to the mat. So I'll start with the adjustment. So from here, you can just begin to pull your hips back. You don't want to, you want to pull them towards the back of the room, not necessarily towards your heels, but just towards the back of the room, and let your chest melt towards the floor. And your bottom is still up towards the sky. So it's not like child's pose where your bottom is coming towards your or touching your heels or towards your heels. It's really that motion of pulling back and opening up those shoulders, feeling it in that shoulder girdle and letting that chest sink down towards the mat. Now, you can stay here or you can come up into dolphin pose where you leave your forearms on the mat and you lift your knees off the ground. So it's like a downward dog, except your forearms are on the mat. And so from here, you're pulling up and back again with the hips. You can feel that stretch also down the back of your legs. And you're allowing your chest to sink towards the mat. So a bit of a more intense chest opening. So do what is available for your shoulders. If you have any sort of shoulder injury, I would keep your knees on the ground and do puppy pose. Just a few breaths here, wherever you're at. And if your knees are off the ground, bring them back onto the mat. And you're going to come back up into your tabletop position. Again, knees under hips and wrists under shoulders. You're going to take your left foot and you're going to bring it up towards that left hand. So you're in a modified lunge, or a runner's lunge. And so from here, you're just going to welcome in some intuitive movement. So moving forward and stretching out that right leg, and then moving back and straightening your left leg, and just making this kind of like a nice flow, not a static movement, unless that's what your body's asking for. And then, always do what that overrides anything, whatever your body's asking for. But just starting to welcome that intuitive movement. So opening up our heart space and our solar plexus. And now we're working into our root chakra and just allowing that energy to flow from our higher self straight down through all of our energy centers. It's just even imagining the light or the color or the feeling just radiating down through the core of our body as we move. And then coming back up into your runner's lunge here with your knee on the ground. Taking a nice big deep breath in and rising up, raising your arms up to the sky, finding your balance here. Now you can stay here. You can again begin to move forward and back, kind of allowing for some more motion in your hips. You don't have a lot of hip openers here, so this is probably like one of the deepest hip opening we'll go today. Just get it in our heart and our chest. So coming to a stillness here in your runner's lunge, nice big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, sweeping your arms down and clasping them behind your back, bringing your shoulder blades together and looking up. Opening that throat. Allowing for our true voice to come out strong and steady. Speaking from the heart. And releasing back down, placing your hands on the mat. You're going to curl your right toes under and lift that right knee up off the mat. And then step that right leg forward just a little bit so that it's about a third of the way behind your left. We're, we're preparing for warrior one. I guess I opened my throat chakra too much. We're preparing for warrior one here. So nice big deep breath in. That front leg stays bent, and then you rise up, hips forward into your warrior one. That back leg is straight. That back heel is on the ground. So if it's your foot is too far back for that heel to be on the ground, move it forward just a little bit. Nice strong posture here. Arms really reaching up towards the sky, crown of the head really reaching up towards the sky. Here we are, we've opened our energy centers, and now we're just allowing that guidance, allowing that connection to our higher self to just flood over us in these standing postures. And your next out breath, sweeping your arms down, bringing that left hand to the outside, or that right hand to the outside of your left knee. And your left hand comes back to support your lower back. We're just gonna twist here in our warrior one, just twisting over, maybe even pulling back gently with that left elbow, opening up the chest, crown of the head, really reaching to the sky. And then coming back to center. Nice big deep breath in and out here. And then opposite way. So that left hand comes to the inside of your left leg, and your right hand comes to your lower back, and we're going to twist here. Pulling that right shoulder blade back. Maybe even looking up or looking back just slightly behind you. Using your breath. Feeling that energy flow through all those energy points. The crown of your head all the way to the base of your tailbone. And coming back up into that warrior one. You're going to straighten your left leg. Again, nice big deep breath in. And as you breathe out, sweeping your arms down, clasping your hands behind your back, or you can leave them on your hips if that's more comfortable. Both your legs are straight, but your knees are soft. Make sure you're not locking your knees here. So wherever your hand placement is, either clasped behind your back or on your hips, you're just going to slowly begin to pull back with your left hip, straight back, ease forward, pausing wherever you feel that nice stretch in your legs or your arms. Coming all the way down if that's available to you. If not, just stop where you feel that nice gentle stretch. Here in Humble Warrior. Releasing your hands to the mat. Stepping your left foot back, coming down into your tabletop position. Big toes come together, knees open to the sides of the mat, pushing your bottom back towards your heels, forehead to the mat, child's pose here. Just a reset here before we move on to the other side. Really allow your chest to sink towards the floor, your belly to sink towards the floor, melting in and just letting everything realign physically, spiritually, maybe even taking this moment to reconnect with that higher self, that place just above the crown of your head. And coming back up into your tabletop position. Let's do the other side. All right. Do all that chest work and it opens up all those little lung capillaries. Might find yourself a little mucusy. Okay, so let's take from our tabletop position. Again, your knees under your hips and your wrists under your shoulders. Let's bring that right leg forward. So we're in that modified runner's lunge here. And here's where that intuitive movement comes in. So making it more like a flow rather than a static motion, but coming forward and stretching out that left leg. And then flowing back and stretching out the right leg, pulling that hip back. Just a gentle movement here, unless your body's asking for something different. Your body's really feeling something, wants to stay there, allow it to. Using your breath to guide your movement. And coming back into your modified runner's lunge. Nice big deep breath in here. Raise your arms up to the sky. Nice deep breath here. Really reaching up towards the sky, really reaching that crown of the head. All that good energy, connection, flow down over you. And then bringing that left hand to the outside of your right leg and your right hand back on your low back, twisting over to the right. Maybe even pulling gently back that right shoulder, opening up just a little bit more. But using your breath as a guide. If you ever feel like you have to hold your breath and you're too far into a stretch, especially a twist, so back out until you can breathe deeply. That's always your test. And coming back to center. Nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, twisting over to the other side, that right hand comes to the inside of the right leg. The left hand comes to your low back, and twisting over the left. And coming back to center, bring your hands down to the mat, curling your left toes under, lifting that left knee up off of the ground, and walking it forward a little bit, preparing for warrior one on this side. Again, that back leg is straight, that front leg is bent. We're going to rise up into our warrior one here. Any adjustments that you need to your leg position so that you can do a nice empowered warrior one here. Really reaching those arms up to the sky, really connecting. Again, allowing that energy to flow down through you. Now that we are fully opening and receiving. Nice. On your next out breath, squeeze your arms down and either clasp them, actually, no, clasp them behind your back, bringing your shoulder blades together, looking up again, opening your throat, letting it relax and receive. Make sure what you speak is full of your truth, but with compassion and kindness. Coming back up, you're going to straighten that right leg. So both legs are straight, but remember the knees are still soft. Again, you have your hands on your hips or clasped behind your back. So wherever they're at, clasp them. Even if they're on your hips, still see if you can bring those shoulder blades together just a little bit. And then leading by pulling your right hip back, straight back, leaning with your nose forward. You feel that nice stretch. Either coming fully down or pausing wherever your body says stop. Learning to pay attention to the boundaries of your body. The first step in establishing boundaries for your heart, your soul, and you show up in the world. That's why yoga is so important. Really understand our physical boundaries so we can assert compassionate and loving boundaries in other areas of our life. Energetic, especially energetic boundaries. Release your hands down to the mat. Step that left leg back, coming back down into your tabletop position and back into your child's pose. Nice deep breaths here, fully releasing down towards the mat. Just allowing for that recalibration. Nice deep recovery breaths. And coming back up into our tabletop position. Just checking my time. So coming down all the way onto your bottom. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. You're just going to slowly begin to roll back onto your back. So from here, we're going to do a little bit of a different twist. So you're going to position yourself so that you're lying on your side. Whichever side you choose. Actually, let's lay it so that I can guide you through it. Let's lay on the right side. And you're kind of in this laying down tabletop position, if you can imagine that. So your knees are at a 90-degree angle. And your hands are straight out in front of you. Your right hand is on the ground and your left hand is just above it with your palms together. And your head is resting on the mat. So from here, you're going to keep your lower body exactly how it is. So it's going to move very little during this. So you take a nice big deep breath in, and as you breathe in, you're going to lift your left arm straight up to the sky and bring it over to the side next to you. Now, it might not touch the ground, and that's okay because you want to leave this right arm on the ground as you open up that left arm. So this should be a pretty deep twist in this upper section of your back, this heart center section of your back. I really worked up some mucus in my lungs. Chest openers. Oh, that's good. Let it go. Let it go. Nice big deep breaths here. Seeing if as you breathe, you can go a bit deeper. Bring your left arm sink just a bit deeper towards the floor. And releasing. Bringing that left arm back to meet the right. We're going to switch that. You can just roll over, but I'm going to switch sides so you can see me. Okay, again, knees at, so now we're facing with our left arm flat on the ground and our right arm up to meet it. And our knees are at a 90-degree angle. And our head is on the floor. Again, nice big deep breath and leave your lower body exactly as it is. And just open that right arm out to the side. And then breathe deeply here. And again, see if you can deepen. You continue to breathe, allowing that heart space to relax and melt. So interesting. I just realized I looked at my watch when we moved into this, and it was 11:30. Huh. So the moon was its fullest, and here we are, opening ourselves to all of its energy, letting it radiate through us, but through our higher self. Right? Not just shining its light on us, but really concentrating down through that higher self. And bringing that right arm back over to meet the left. Rolling over onto your back again. Just switch sides. You know, you have to have a certain. My head always has to be to the statue. Disrespectful if your feet are to the statue, so that's why I have to move around. Fun fact. All right. So readjusting back onto your back, we're going to come into our bridge pose here. This is a very nice heart opening. The bridge pose is very nice for heart opening. So your knees are bent and your feet are on the floor. You're going to walk your heels towards your hands and your hands towards your heels and kind of tuck your shoulder blades under, really opening up that chest. And then as you breathe in, you're going to lift your hips up off the ground as high as they'll go into this bridge pose. And so when we do our standing, so just pause here in your bridge pose. When we do our standing poses, we're really allowing that energy to move down through those energy centers that we have just recently opened with our movement, with our meditation, and our breath work. And here, as we end our practice, we're really allowing that blood to move back up through, and our energy move back up through into our heart space, really nourishing it. It's a very nourishing pose, allowing that blood and allowing our energy to move back up through into our heart space and out to the crown of our head. If you can almost just imagine that energy flowing down from our root chakra, from our tailbone, really nourishing all those areas of our core as we hold here. If you want deeper, you can clasp your hands under your bottom, open your chest, just really allowing nice deep breath, nourishing. And then eventually releasing your hips down to the ground, releasing yourself down to the ground. We're going to do one more thing before we move into Shavasana. I didn't mention this, but if you're watching the recording, I'll mention it when I send you the recording. But if you do have a block or a pillow or something you can grab, just one more heart opener here. Then we'll do our nice closing meditation in our Shavasana. So if you position your block or your pillow just right around the middle of your back, right around, so it's kind of like in between your shoulder blades, and your head is resting on the ground. You don't want anything too big that you can't rest your head or let your head fully release, so that you're opening that heart or that throat space. You're opening your heart space. Enough to allow your shoulder blades just kind of gently fall, relax towards the ground. Palms are up. Pausing here. Taking this moment just to reconnect. Reconnect to that higher self, that area just above the crown of your head. Allowing your heart to communicate an energy up towards the crown of your head, feeding that higher self, feeding your soul. You've accepted so much energy from that part, and it's endless and infinite. It's nice to connect the heart back to the higher self, that the two are feeding each other, reciprocal, symbiotic relationship, our higher self and our heart, back and forth, establishing that connection. And when you're ready, just gently rolling over, removing that block or that pillow from between your shoulder blades, and just relaxing, letting yourself flow, melt into your mat, preparing yourself for Shavasana. Just allow that full release, however you want to position yourself for Shavasana. If you have low back issues, I highly recommend keeping your feet flat on the ground and your knees bent. That's the best if you have any low back issues. If you want to do a few, if you want to deepen your hips a little bit or open your hips a little bit, you can bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall out to the side, or you can find your way into traditional Shavasana with your legs straight out in front of you, tucking your shoulder blades under, settling yourself deep into this mat, preparing to seal off your practice for today. Nice big deep breath in, a full breath out. Deep breath in and a full breath. And closing your eyes if they're not closed. Allowing yourself to sink just a bit deeper each breath. And reconnecting to your body first. Noticing how your body touches the mat, all those connection points to the ground. Just feeling into your body, noticing any sensation. Mostly just allowing your body to be just as it is. We did a lot of heart opening work today. When we do that, it's always nice to good practice to peel off our boundaries, not close our hearts, but peel off our energy so that we may give love and put love out in the world, and but we may be in charge of how we receive the world. We're not walking around with open hearts and open boundaries, but more in charge of how we receive the world's energy. So focusing on that space just above the crown of your head, noticing anything you can about that space, that piece of you, that part of your soul. Allow that connection, allow it to solidify, connecting to your crown, through your heart, to your belly, deep into your tailbone, your pelvis, and down to your feet. Deep, true connection to your true self. And allow that area, that higher self, to flood you with light or color, starting at the crown of your head, looking all the way down to your throat, around your arms, your torso, your hips, your legs, and your feet. This beautiful bubble of protection that allows you to share your love, but also helps you receive it in the way that you wish. Nice, protective boundaries. Allow yourself to be here just for a few moments in this nice, protective space. Allow your higher self and your soul to cradle you with comfort, compassion. Allow yourself to feel and release whatever is necessary at this time. Knowing you're safe and protected in divine guidance. We'll be here just for a few moments and let you know when the time is up. Please enjoy your Shavasana. Go ahead. Begin to deepen your breath, deepen that connection, just deepening your breath, beginning to work out of the toes, beginning to bring some intuitive movement into your body, starting with your feet or your hands. Mm, tapping or moving your knees. Maybe reaching your arms above your head, and arching your back slightly. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, roll over onto your right side, pausing here for a moment, allowing the blood to flow back through your heart, your brain, and that energy align. This final moment here in this energy. And then when you're ready, pushing yourself up to seated very gently, very, very gently. And we'll go ahead and end our practice for today. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. A blessing, and just I feel so lucky to be able to teach you all and guide you through these yoga classes. So, thank you for showing up for yourself and also for me. But I'll go ahead and end with the light in me is a direct reflection of the light in all of you. Namaste.